Treating staff like servants, looking down on other idols, acting like they don't need anyone, etc., are some of the most taboo things that all idols should never do if they don't want their reputation to end in a blink of an eye. However, according to netizens, there are still exceptions, as these following idols are just too full of themselves, that nothing on earth matters more than their esteem and indulgence. Number 1. The Boys' Younghoon said to take staff's effort for granted. Coming from a small company, but still managing to be super famous for his visual that strongly resembles Jisoo, Younghoon has been under scrutiny 24/7 lately with everything he does. While that comes with a bunch of benefits, Younghoon has recently also been caught up in a scandal regarding his alleged arrogance during a V-Live. The livestream started out just fine, as for the first 5 minutes, Younghoon just talked to fans and described the choco bread from the coffee shop he liked. However, things began to turn for the worse, as he asked for some orange juice as eating the bread alone was throat dry. Instead of saying it formally to the staff, Younghoon half-jokingly said to the camera, "I want orange juice. I am saying this because I feel like I can have some if I say it out loud."
오렌지 주스가 먹고 싶네.
Which, in the eyes of netizens, was a sign of disrespecting and taking staff's efforts for granted. What's even more annoying to them was that when the staff brought him the orange juice, Younghoon didn't say thank you, but just clapped and laughed as if it was something people must do for him. Others also pointed out that he even had the balls to reply to the comment, "IST having a difficult job," with a flippant attitude, saying,
그럴 수도 있죠. 말만 하면 다 이루어지나? 어디까지 되나 볼까요?
The scene was so annoying that instead of being nitpicked on by anti-fans, the alleged arrogance of Younghoon was brought up by the B. After the V-Live, this person had cut this contentious snippet out of the livestream and posted it on Twitter, which ended up making it so viral that netizens on Panchoa also began talking about it. Many said that though they got Younghoon's joke, he should have at least thanked the staff for taking care of him 24/7. And as an idol, he should have known what joke to pull and when to pull it. Still, there were opposing opinions, and according to fans, people were just blowing things out of proportion. Because had they followed the boys long enough, they would have known how Younghoon and the staff members were like family members. Plus, the fact that everyone in the comments said they knew Younghoon was joking, but still accused him of being arrogant, sounded like they were just trying to be nice while their ulterior motive was still to bring him down. Number 2. EXO's Lay said to be overconfident about his group. In the memories of netizens, AAA 2016 didn't end on a very high note, because, according to them, the alleged arrogant attitude of Lay that night had spoiled everything they expected at some of the most awaited award shows. The tea started after EXO bagged home 5 of the biggest awards of the night: Baidu Star Award, Singer's Popularity Award, Asia Star Award, Popularity Award, and of course, the most valuable title, Daesang. While the common case was that people would have polarized opinions as to whether a certain group deserved the award, the attention was all shifted to Lay because of his alleged ill manners when EXO was giving a tribute speech, shoving his hands into his pockets. This was a solid sign of his arrogant attitude. And as EXO was at the top of their career at the time, Lay was said to view himself too big in terms of the group's successes. The hate was so big that even fans admitted Lay was becoming too full of himself as time passed. And though they were always supporting EXO, they couldn't wholeheartedly cheer for Lay. Year-end award shows that year were indeed the origin of all criticism toward Lay, because just over a week after that, he was again embroiled in another attitude incident when receiving the award at Mama. When EXO was named to be the group to which the title Album of the Year belonged, Lay volunteered to give an acceptance speech, but according to netizens, while he could have used the opportunity to make the night more memorable, he used it to show the overconfidence that EXO would forever be the top boy group of K-pop.
咱们中国有一句话叫做“长江后浪推前浪”，我希望 EXO 用自己的努力改写这后半句话，前浪永远站在最高的山顶上。
Actually, some pointed out even before Lay began the speech, they had already sensed the smell of haughtiness in the air because first, he pointed his finger up to the sky while talking, though the speech was meant to send respect and tributes. And second, he didn't bother to greet fans or thank the staff, but straightforward jumped to the wish that EXO could never be outdone by younger acts. But which younger acts was he talking about? According to netizens, Lay didn't specifically name-call, but it was quite clear that he was hinting at BTS, the only group whose popularity rose at lightning speed and could potentially take over the crown of EXO. And this ended up resulting in a huge fan war between EXO-Ls and ARMYs. However, Lay supporters claimed that people were exaggerating what should have just been an ambitious goal of Lay, and some ARMYs were literally stuffing words in his mouth, because he had never mentioned BTS that night or even in the past. Some even said that it was ARMYs who were arrogant, since there were many promising groups at the time, yet they believed Leg was referring to only BTS. Number 3. J-Park said to look down on BTS and flatter himself. Used to be the ace of 2 p.m., but soon left because of the controversial racial remarks, J-Park is still one of the most successful artists, as he not only manages to have a famous solo career, but also single-handedly manages AOMG, Higher Music, More Vision, and One Soju. However, to many K-pop fans, J-Park was no one but a cocky persona that had no respect and limits in the words he used for others. Things all started after he expressed disappointment in an interview in 2020.
It's very awkward for me because over there I'm like considered American, I'm considered like too hip-hop, right? Or like too edgy or whatever. And then over here, everybody considers me K-pop. When they think Korean, they think of K-pop, so they think I'm gonna be like, my music is gonna be like BTS, or like they kind of put me in the same category, so they kind of sleep on my bars or they sleep on my music or whatever it may be.
As J-Park partially touched on BTS's reputation, and to a certain extent, portrayed the group with a not-so-good image, the tweet spread like wildfire, gaining over 100,000 views in a few hours, and ARMYs kept throwing shade at him like crazy, calling him out to be attention-seeking, cocky, and delusional about how well his music should have been recognized. However, his reactions to that were said to be more than enough to trigger ARMYs, as a short while after his name was trending, he just casually tweeted, "There isn't an artist as versatile as me. That is all," and sarcastically asked, "When did I get so poppin' on Twitter?" According to BTS's fans, these were blatant signs of how he was taking too much pride in himself. Though in South Korea, his music wasn't welcomed that much, and J-Park was seen immediately clapping back with this tweet. People found it hilarious the way J-Park put his name beside BTS and director Bong Joon-ho, saying that what he did was just as historic as what they do. And had people kept complaining, they would definitely have been haters. Others said the most arrogant and shameless thing about this whole story was how he put an end to the discussion with a cocky and bitter tone, claiming he would mention every K-pop group in his next song, because there was nothing wrong with those references. However, opinions were still divided, and according to the opposite side, K-nets, and especially ARMYs, were too pressed over nothing. According to J-Park supporters, he said nothing wrong in his tweets, as talking of K-hip-hop, his name would pop up first in people's minds. Besides, they said people also needed to chill, because artists referring to each other in a speech was normal, as long as there was no ulterior motive behind it. Number 4. Sunmi said to deliberately avoid reporters. Last month, Sunmi was unfortunately involved in an attitude scandal, and was criticized for being so arrogant that she made the reporters wait at the airport to take her pictures, but ended up not showing up. The tea started after the outlet My Daily highlighted that Sunmi had lied to reporters to evade them. And instead of going out from the main gate where she was being waited on, Sunmi only let her manager go that way. Besides, the article also described the action of Sunmi amid the alleged ghosting as running away from those who had been there to take her pictures and keep her reputation afloat. However, very different from the other cases, most netizens were on Sunmi's side because, according to her clarification later, the trip was on her personal schedule, and she didn't promise to appear. One of the evidences for her claim that netizens found out was that she didn't wear any designer clothes, which was completely opposite to the implicit rule that idols must wear items from famous fashion brands to promote them, and instead just had on a full gray brandless set. Later, some even found out that the reporters were actually there for twice, but they thought it could be a lucrative deal had they stayed to get Sunmi's photos, yet eventually couldn't, so they got mad at her. Number 5. Irene, Joy, and Yeri said to treat airplane staff like servants. Just a month prior to Sunmi's incident, Irene, Joy, and Yeri were also embroiled in an allegation where a flight attendant accused them of arrogantly treating the airplane staff like their servants. While this was just an anonymous post on the internet, many netizens believed this was true because the OP was on Blind, an employee community that asked users to verify their account with their work email. According to this person, while Sulgi and Wendy were nice, the other 3 acted like they were really something and must be treated differently. In the comments, another user also verified the information, as he even specifically finger-pointed at Irene, saying that she should have stopped throwing her IDs, snatching her tickets from the flight attendants, and most importantly, should have come to the counter in person for check-in, as her mobility was completely fine. Responding to the accusations, many maintained a neutral attitude, and still added that if what was posted were true, they wouldn't be so surprised considering Irene's past scandals, and the fact that idol privilege existed. Moreover, some said, as there had always been a weird vibe around Yeri and Joy, It's very likely that the whole story was true. Needless to say, many Red Velvets were furious at those accusations. They claimed that the whole thing was fake and baseless, because this story was re-upped by Sojang, a notorious YouTube channel that often posted fake news about idols to damage their reputation. Many also said this news must have been uploaded by anti-fans that wanted to take Red Velvet down, because 1. The information was too generic, and 2. It was said to be fake, as Red Velvet had no flight schedule around the time the post was made. So, do you think these idols are actually rude? Or are some netizens so sensitive that every little thing idols do was a thorn in their eyes? Comment down below to share your thoughts with us. Also, remember to like, share, and subscribe to BeBoss TV for more interesting K-pop content. Thank you for watching.